In basketball, winning a championship ring is the ultimate prize. It's the symbol of greatness, the final piece of a player's legacy. But what happens when legends never get one? Today, we dive into the stories of NBA superstars who dominated the court, rewrote the record books, inspired millions, yet never reached the mountaintop. These are the NBA's greatest players without a ring. Number 1. Charles Barkley, the round mound of rebound. Charles Barkley was unstoppable. At just 6 feet 6 inches, undersized for a power forward, he played with the strength of a bulldozer and the speed of a guard. The 1993 MVP, an 11-time All-Star, and a proud member of the legendary Dream Team, Barkley was one of the most dominant forces in basketball. He carried the Phoenix Suns to the finals in 1993, but standing in his way was Michael Jordan at the peak of his powers. Despite Barkley averaging over 27 points in that series, the Bulls crushed the Suns' dreams. Off the court, Barkley became a fan favorite for his fiery personality and honesty. But on the court, there was always one thing missing: the ring. Number 2. Karl Malone, the mailman. The mailman always delivers. That was Karl Malone's nickname. A 2-time MVP, 14-time All-Star, and for decades the second highest scorer in NBA history. Malone's mid-range jumper and physicality made him nearly unstoppable. But when it came to delivering championships, the mailman couldn't get it done. His Utah Jazz made the finals twice, in 1997 and 1998. Both times, Michael Jordan's Bulls denied him glory. Despite all the points, all the accolades, and all the years of dominance, Malone's legacy carries an asterisk: no ring. Number 3. John Stockton, the assist king. If Karl Malone was the scorer, John Stockton was the mastermind. The NBA's all-time leader in assists and steals, Stockton was the ultimate floor general. His pick-and-roll chemistry with Malone is still considered one of the deadliest weapons in basketball history. But Stockton's loyalty to Utah became both his strength and his curse. Year after year, he ran into dynasties: the Bulls, the Spurs, the Lakers. His Jazz made 2 finals appearances, but never broke through. He played 19 seasons, all with Utah, and never once slowed down. Yet, like Malone, he retired without a ring. Number 4. Patrick Ewing, the Knicks warrior. Patrick Ewing carried the New York Knicks through one of the toughest eras in NBA history: a dominant 7-footer, an 11-time All-Star, and a franchise cornerstone. Ewing battled night after night against titans like Hakeem Olajuwon, Shaquille O'Neal, and of course, Michael Jordan. He took the Knicks to 2 finals, in 1994 and 1999. But both times he came up short. First against Olajuwon's Rockets, then against Tim Duncan and David Robinson's Spurs. Ewing gave New York everything, but the city that craves championships most never saw him raise the trophy. Number 5. Allen Iverson, the answer. Allen Iverson wasn't just a basketball player. He was a cultural revolution. Small in size, huge in heart, Iverson redefined toughness. The 2001 MVP, an 11-time All-Star, and a 4-time scoring champ, Iverson carried a Sixers team with little help all the way to the NBA Finals. Game 1 of that series is legendary. Iverson scored 48 points against the Lakers and delivered his famous step-over Tyronn Lue moment. But the Kobe-Shaq dynasty proved too much. Iverson never won a ring, but his influence on the game, the culture, and the streets will last forever. Number 6. Reggie Miller, the Knicks nightmare. If you want to talk about clutch shooters, Reggie Miller's name is near the top. The Indiana Pacers legend tormented defenses with his quick release and endless confidence. His battles with the New York Knicks, especially the famous 8 points in 9 seconds game, made him a household name. But Miller's one shot at a championship came in 2000. He reached the finals, only to run into Shaq and Kobe's Lakers. Reggie Miller gave everything to Indiana, but his career ended without the one thing he wanted most. Number 7. Steve Nash. The maestro. Few players were more beautiful to watch than Steve Nash. A 2-time MVP and one of the greatest passers in basketball history, Nash turned the Phoenix Suns into a must-watch show with his 7 seconds or less offense. But as brilliant as he was offensively, he could never get his team over the hump. Time and time again, Nash's Suns were stopped by Tim Duncan's Spurs, by Kobe's Lakers, by bad luck and untimely injuries. He changed how the game was played, inspiring today's fast-paced offenses, but he never got the chance to play in the finals. Number 8. Dominique Wilkins, the human highlight film. Dominique Wilkins was pure entertainment, a 9-time All-Star, a 2-time dunk contest champion, and one of the most explosive scorers the game has ever seen. But Dominique had the misfortune of playing during one of the toughest eras in NBA history. The Celtics had Larry Bird, the Pistons had Isaiah Thomas, the Bulls had Michael Jordan. The path was blocked at every turn. Despite averaging over 24 points per game for his career, Wilkins never even reached the finals. Number 9. Elgin Baylor, the forgotten legend. Elgin Baylor was decades ahead of his time. Before high-flying dunks and acrobatic layups became the norm, Baylor was already doing them in the 1960s. At 6 feet 5 inches, he revolutionized the forward position, blending strength, skill, and creativity. An 11-time All-Star, he averaged an incredible 27 points and 13 rebounds per game across his career, numbers that still sound unreal today. Baylor led the Lakers to the finals 8 different times, but cruel fate always stood in the way. Sometimes it was Bill Russell's Boston Celtics dynasty. Sometimes it was injuries. Sometimes it was just bad luck. And then came the most heartbreaking twist. In 1972, Baylor retired mid-season due to knee problems. Just months later, the Lakers won the championship, the very title Baylor had chased his whole career. He is remembered as one of the greatest to ever play, but history has been unfair. No ring, no closure. Just a legacy of brilliance overshadowed by what could have been. Number 10. Chris Paul, the point god still active. Chris Paul, known as CP3, or simply the point god, is one of the smartest, most skilled point guards the game has ever seen. A 12-time All-Star, 9-time All-Defensive player, and a pure leader on the court, Paul is the definition of a floor general. He controls pace, sets up teammates, and makes every team he joins instantly better. But for all his greatness, fate has not been kind. In 2018, while with the Houston Rockets, he came within a whisker of reaching the finals. Up 3-2 against the Golden State Warriors dynasty, Paul injured his hamstring and missed the final 2 games. The Rockets lost the series and CP3's best shot slipped away. In 2021, he finally made the finals with the Phoenix Suns, dazzling in the early games. But Giannis Antetokounmpo and the Milwaukee Bucks stormed back to win the series, leaving Paul heartbroken again. Even now, as he enters the twilight of his career, he's still chasing that elusive ring. He's already a lock for the Hall of Fame, but the question lingers. Will Chris Paul be remembered as one of the greatest point guards ever without a championship? Or will he finally get that storybook ending? For these players, greatness was never the question. They broke records, defined eras, and left legacies that will live forever. But they also remind us of something deeper, that in sports, sometimes even the greatest efforts don't guarantee the ultimate prize. Because in the NBA, rings aren't just jewelry, they're history.